Hello, students. This is a new way of teaching for us, a new way of learning, but we're going to do it. It's going to be cool. This is the same lecture that I give on position argument in a classroom, but we are going to have it on a YouTube video. It may be rough in places, but we're doing the best that we can. I think you might have to capture me and make me smaller so that you can see the whole slides. Check that and see. Okay, so be that as it may, a position argument is different from your essay number 1 because of these different things. Let's go over it. First off, the topic that you pick needs to be controversial. It needs to provoke strong disagreement. Saying that the coronavirus has disrupted life in America as we know it is probably not very controversial. Nobody would disagree with you. But there are many things that are good controversial topics. I would suggest strongly that you use taking sides or opposing viewpoints to find yourself a really good topic. I can't emphasize that enough. You'll have really good resources and everything from there. Remember that they need to be focused. You can't do global warming in just one little tiny essay because there's a whole book that's been done on that. But maybe you could do the rainforests or something along that line. But remember, too, that you're not fixing something with this essay. That's going to be in your research paper, which we will discuss later. Your research paper is going to take a social problem, and then it's going to figure out a cause, and then it's going to find a solution. This is just going to argue for one thing or the other, and you can't do both of them on the same topic. So be thinking about that as you figure out your topic. It also needs to be interesting and not overdone. I am sorry I have read 100,000 essays on gun control. And so I would be bored. So maybe find something that I have not read 100,000 essays about. You can text me or email, or not text me, but email me and say, what do you think of this topic? And I will give you my input. And also, you can't do beliefs taken on faith. I could argue forever about my religion, but it's taken on faith, not on logic. And that's fine. That is good. So, but you could though say that religion is necessary in someone's life, and that you could find logically. Just kind of tweak it a little. Also, the specific audience that's in mind is us. We are your students, your classmates, and us. And it has to be supported with reason and evidence. You can't just take something you think. Other people have had to do studies on it, etc. You don't have to do a peer review journal for this one, but you do have to have outside sources. That's why, again, go to the library databases. Now, your thesis statement is going to be a little different from this one than your essay number 1. It's going to take a stand, and that's fine. That's the same as essay number 1, right? And it's going to make the writer's position clear. And this one needs to be really pithy, brief, and forceful and to the point. It can't contain ambiguous words like might, good, bad, and so forth. This is an example that I'm going to use throughout the whole essay. Mothers of preschool-age children should not work outside the home. That is very controversial. Some people, the thesis statement, if you were on the opposite side, it would just leave out the not. But I'm going to use this as an example throughout the whole essay of things that you could be doing. Do not say I believe or I think. That weakens your thesis statement. Just say it straight out the way that it is. It is usually the last sentence of the first paragraph. Just put it there. Then it's easy for me to find. It's easy for the readers to find, and it just fits in with the essay, the basic essay structure. By the time the reader finishes, the first paragraph, he or she should have no doubt about the topic of the essay and your stance. Now, you figured out what you're going to write about, and you've kind of got a working thesis statement. Remember, you can change that as much as you want to. So what do you do for an introduction? It should introduce the subject and catch the reader's attention. That's the only thing that an introduction should do. Not prove things, nothing. Introduce the subject, catch the reader's attention. Now, these are the ones I've found have been most helpful. You can find a a handout on introductions and conclusions under files and under other course material, and then introductions and conclusions. But usually beginning with facts, statistics, or history of the topic to show the subject is important or noteworthy is one way to do it. For example, in our topic, we could do the idea of children staying home with their parents throughout history to start off with, or statistics showing homeschool children, homeschool preschool children are healthy and strong, and whatever you'd want to do. You could present a commonly held view and then contrast it with the writer's view. For example, many people think that women should work outside the home when they have young children. However, and then you could put your thesis in there. Or you could begin with a story of Susan, who homeschools her preschoolers and loves it. That would work. And then the thesis should be the last sentence of the introduction. That's where I'm going to look for it. That's where it should be. Now you've got the reason and evidence paragraphs are very similar to the ones that you wrote in essay number 1. What they do is the topic sentence states one reason the thesis is correct. The rest of the paragraph supports that with logic, examples, statistics, and or outside sources. And then you add sensory detail and specific examples showing instead of telling. Really similar to your other essay. So you would have, for example, in this one, the topic sentence would be one reason why mothers of preschool children should not work outside the home is because it is healthier for children not to be around many other children. And then you do the whole sentence showing instead of telling and talking about. You do the whole rest of the paragraph showing why it's healthier for people not to be around a bunch of other children whenever they are 2 or 3 years old. And then one idea per paragraph. If you start off on this on the idea of healthy, don't go to the idea of socialization or don't go to the idea of finances. Just stay with one idea per paragraph. Then this is where things get a little bit different in a position essay. You've got opposition and refutation. That is stating why the opposition's viewpoint is there and showing why that reasoning is flawed. That shows that you are a reasonable person and have seen the other side. You just don't agree with it. Be sure to use transitions such as however, the opposition fails to note, or another similar transition so it's clear this is not your viewpoint, it is the opposition's viewpoint and they are wrong. One reason why people feel that mothers should work outside the home is because they need the outside stimulus to stay sane. However, being a mother of a preschooler is very intellectually stimulating and very rewarding. That would be an example of how you would do that. Now that you've got to have a conclusion, once you have 4 pages, then you've got to have a conclusion. And you can look on my handout if you want to, but the ones that are most effective for this kind are to end with a discussion of the outcome or consequences or affirm why it's important. So just talk about why it is important that mothers stay home with their children. Or you could end with a prediction about what will happen. What would happen if all mothers decided to work outside the home? What would happen to the society? What would happen to people? Or you could ask the reader to take action. In this case, if they don't have children, I guess they can't really take action. But if you've got another topic that you're doing, like maybe how important it is to vote, then you would say, decide right now, make a decision to go out and vote and become more active in politics. Or you could frame the essay. If you have given me a story to start with in your introduction, talk about that story in your conclusion. That kind of ties everything all together, like frame. The best conclusions leave readers with an interesting or thought-provoking idea and give the audience a feeling that the writer has brought ideas to a logical end and has said what he or she wants to say. That's what it does. But do not just give me a summary. Don't insult my intelligence. I just read your essay. I know what you said. Don't just say it again. Don't just do a summary. It has to be more than that. You used to be able to do that in high school, but not now. And also don't add ideas that were not covered in the body of the essay. So some general characteristics really quickly. An effective position argument will also have the following: logos, logic, no obvious fallacies. We did the fallacy quiz, and you read the fallacy stuff, so you have some ideas. Look on page 42 and 43 if you have questions. Pathos, an emotional appeal. We have to know that it makes a difference to individual people. Now, ad mesocorium is just emotion. We don't want that, but we do want to know that it affects people in one little way. And then ethos is a sense of credibility and shared attitude and beliefs with the audience. So you would not go and say horrible things about the opposition. The stupid people who don't believe that we should have guns, don't do that. Don't do that. It will knock your grade way, 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 way down. And again, few, if any, logical fallacies. I will be looking for those, so make sure you pay attention to those. So we are done, people, and we will talk more about this later. But thank you for being patient with this.